Hey guys, it's Dan Pesto here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this exact prop. Now, for those that don't know what this is the Phantom from Valorant. Now, let's go over the materials that you guys will need in order to create this prop. The first one is the obvious. It is EVA foam. Now, I used 3 different thicknesses of EVA foam. I used 6mm craft foam, 1/2 inch thick foam, and 3/4 inch thick foam. The second thing that you guys are going to need is box cutter blades or craft blades. I personally use fix-in blades. Now the third thing that you guys will need is this. This is just craft foam. This is going to be used in order to seal up the seams of your prop. Another thing that you guys will need is a Dremel. Now this helped me a lot in creating this whole entire prop, and if you don't have a Dremel, don't worry, I will leave links down in the description so you guys can buy Dremels that are at a reasonable price, or you can go to your local hardware store and they most likely sell Dremels. For the last things that you guys will need is a hot glue gun and a heat gun. But anyways, let's get right into the building process. Now to start this tutorial, what I want you guys to go do first is go ahead and go to Andrew Deity's YouTube channel and download the Phantom template that he provides to you for free. Once you are done downloading and printing out your template, cut out the template exactly like I am showing. Once you are done cutting out the template exactly like me, take the main body of the gun and the buttstock of the gun, and we are going to start to trace out pieces. Now in total you are going to have 6 pieces, 3 of the main body and 3 of the buttstock, with 2 of those pieces being on the 1/2 inch thick foam and 1 piece being on the 3/4 inch thick foam. Now when you are tracing the 2 pieces on the 1/2 inch thick foam, after you're done tracing out one piece, flip the template once and trace the second piece that way. Now once you are done tracing out your pieces, all we're going to do next is cut them out. Now to make sure that your blade is nice and sharp, simply just take an extra piece of EVA foam or cut into an area that you aren't going to be using. Now if there is no resistance and it feels like it's cutting through like butter, then you're good to go. But if there is some resistance or a lot of resistance, then you need to either sharpen your blade or change it out. Now once you are done tracing out your pieces, simply just take your hot glue gun and glue all the pieces together. Now remember, you want the 3/4 inch thick foam in between the 2 1/2 inch pieces. Once you are done hot gluing your pieces together, check to see if there's any imperfections. Now if there are imperfections, don't worry, that is just human error. That always does happen. Even with me and my experience, I always have a bunch of human errors when it comes to cutting out pieces, so don't worry about that. Now this is where a Dremel does come in handy. If you don't have a Dremel, don't worry, I will leave a link down in the description to Dremels that Amazon does sell at a reasonable price. Or you can even go to your local hardware store and they should sell Dremels at a reasonable price too. Now once you are done dremeling your pieces to make sure that they are flat with each other or are perfectly aligned with each other, what you're going to do next is simply just take your template and cut out the dash marks, and we're going to start to bevel pieces. Now for beveling, all you're going to do is simply just take a marker and take your prop and then just simply draw a middle line in between the foam piece. And then the very next thing, all you're going to do is simply just take your knife and start to bevel that piece that you just marked. Now another thing to note is that making bevel cuts actually does wear out your blades more than making a simple straight cut, so do be wary of this. Now on the Phantom for Valorant, there is a very specific angled cut on the buttstock, and I'm going to try to replicate that. Okay, so for this part of the video, it is going to be harder for me to try and explain, but I will try my best. So the very first thing that you want to do, in the marked area, you want to cut in the middle of it. And then after that, you're going to simply just bevel both sides. You want to try to bevel as close to the line as possible. Now, if what I said didn't make any sense to you guys, what I want you guys to do is simply just rewind the video a few seconds and then just simply watch what I am showing you guys, and hopefully you'll understand what I am saying. Now, while you guys are beveling that specific cut for the buttstock of the Phantom, you do want to remember that you do want to do it for both sides. Now, after you are done beveling as close to the line as possible with your knife, what I suggest doing next is simply taking your Dremel and finishing it off from there. And while you're at it with your Dremel, simply just go over all of your bevel cuts and clean them up. After you are done cleaning up all of your bevels with your Dremel, what we're going to do next is simply take the main body of the gun and you're going to cut out the template exactly like I am showing right now. Now the first piece that we are going to be focusing on is the middle section, and you're simply just going to take that piece and you're going to trace it onto 6mm craft foam. Now you don't need to worry to flip the template to one side and trace it that way. Craft foam doesn't have a textured side like foam mats, so you should be good. Now once you have two pieces traced out of the middle section, what you're going to do next is simply cut out those pieces with your knife. Now once you are done cutting out two pieces, take your template and cut out the dash marks. After you are done cutting out the dash marks, you're simply going to trace those onto your two pieces. Now for the handguard and the other piece, we're going to be doing the exact same thing like the middle section, but the only difference is that we're going to be tracing these pieces onto 1/2" thick foam. Now go ahead and grab the magazine template, and what you're going to do is cut it out exactly like I am showing right now. You can go ahead and put away the two bottom pieces of the magazine. We're just going to focus on the main body. Now I did do a little bit of a mistake when tracing and cutting out the body for the magazine. The little bit that is on top of the magazine, you actually don't need, so what you're going to simply do is just cut it off. Now, I did do another mistake and I am truly sorry for this. So where the magazine goes on the main body of the gun, it has a bit of a slant on the main body. So what you're going to simply do is take your magazine, trace out where the slant is on the magazine, and then what you're going to simply do is just cut it off. Now we're going to be focusing on the two bottom pieces of the magazine. You can either eyeball it like me or use a template. Both are good options. Now since I didn't use the template in order to make the two bottom pieces of the magazine, what I simply did was after cutting off the slanted piece on the main body of the magazine, I used that as a triangle looking piece. What you're going to do next is simply just cut off the textured side of the triangle piece. After that, you're going to mark off a triangle section at the bottom of that triangle piece, and then you're just going to simply cut it off. Now for the flat piece of the magazine, all you're going to simply do is just grab 6mm craft foam, and then you're going to grab your two magazine pieces and then you're going to squish them together, and then you're going to simply just trace out the thickness and the length of the magazine onto the 6mm craft foam, and then you're going to simply just cut it out. Now I did forget to mention this, but on one side of the handguard, what you're going to simply do is just cut halfway through, and then you're going to simply just cut a small piece of it off. Now for this next section of the video, you can simply follow me or you can do it on your own, it's up to you. Now coming back to the three pieces that go onto the main body of the gun, what you're going to simply do is just grab your knife and you're going to bevel off as much of the marked lines as you can with your blade. If you were like me and only able to bevel off a small section of each piece, don't worry, we're going to be using a Dremel now. Now that we are going to be Dremeling the three pieces that go onto the main body of the gun, please take your time. Now the first piece that we are going to be focusing on is the handguard. Now what you're going to simply do is just start to round out the edges of the handguard. For the second piece that we are going to be dremeling, that is going to be the middle section, and for this you're going to simply just grab 6mm at a 45-degree angle towards the line. Now for the third and final piece, that is towards the buttstock and the pistol grip of the gun, you're going to simply just round out a small section of it. Now that we have all of our pieces dremeled, we're going to start to assemble the whole entire thing together. Now for putting the 3 pieces that go onto the main body of the gun, what I simply did was just grab one piece, for example the handguard. I simply just traced it out where it's going to go, and then I simply just hot glued it there. And the same thing applies to the other 2 pieces. Now for the magazine, it is straightforward. All you're going to simply do is just grab the 2 main pieces, glue them together, and then when you're gluing the triangle piece at the bottom, you're going to simply glue it in the middle. And then after that, grab the flat piece and then glue it at the bottom of the triangle piece. And there you guys go, you have the full body of the Phantom assembled. Now, I'm not going to be going over how to do the smaller details and how to make the full length suppressor from Valorant. I will make a part 2 video which will go over all of that, and in the part 2 video, I'm going to be going over how to seal up all of your seams of your prop. Now, if you want to know when I'm going to be making that part 2 video or I'm going to be releasing it, please subscribe and please turn on notifications because this took a really long time for me to make. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.